Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be checking out Jango FETT issue 2 by Ethan Sachs and Luke Ross. Jango's mission to track down the Hope of Glee Anselm takes him to Coruscant, specifically level 1313, where he finds he's not the only one after the duel, as the Anselmi have sent their own little group to get the jewel back for their side, citing that they are the rightful owners. Sachs uses Jango and his no-nonsense approach to any job really well here, since in another book the character would just hear out their plight and maybe offer to help the little aliens, but with Jango he tells them he doesn't really give a shit about their politics and opens fire on them. Jango eventually meets a kid that the Anselmi were trying to find, and we learn that this kid seems to have a lot of information about what's going on, since he saw some things he really wasn't meant to. And we learned that a war breaking out between the Anselmi and the Nautolians would be a massive humiliation for Chancellor Valorum and would cause him to be taken out of office. The kid points Jango in the direction of a ship that left not long after the heist on Jaloria, and one that contains the thieves, and with that Jango is off on his mission. Honestly, this first little sequence I think would have been better suited for the end of the first issue, which while provided a proper push-off for Jango's story and set up the whole jewel being stolen and him being hired for the job, kind of petered out at the end with him not really having any clue of where to go from here and just kind of going off on his own. And this gave him, that push into the mission, and it would have been great to have that tagged on at the end of the last issue. While Jango makes his way off-world to find the ship, Aura Singh and her handler Judicial Hujari put a tracker on his ship to follow him to his target. To make matters worse, the Nautolian ambassador contacts Jango and tries to cancel the contract they have with him, but Jango isn't the man to just give up on a job and refuses to give up, contacting his old friend Clixon, who we recently saw in the Dark Droids event, and a character who actually played a big part in that event. The Nautolian appearing here screams of some sort of, double cross or betrayal, like they are the ones behind the theft and they don't want Jango to actually find that out, and because he was meant to be killed in that first issue and now he's not, and now he's on their people's tail, and they don't want to be found out that they are the ones inciting this theft and possible war. Couple that with the Anselmi trying to find the stone before the hunter as well, and it's almost like they are trying to cover something up, and you get this neat web of conspiracies and intrigue for Jango to weave his way through, which I think is really quite cool, especially with a character like Jango, who in the start of this issue and in that first issue we are led to believe, if you're the first time reading it, you're led to believe that he's like very no nonsense. He doesn't really care for any of that sort of stuff. He just wants to do the mission and get in and get out. Clixon manages to find the ship Jango is looking for and takes him to Halatron 7, a garbage disposal world, where he finds pieces of the thieves' armor among the trash that the ship dropped off. As Jango tries to get information from the captain of the ship he followed, he is attacked by Vigor Struck. Vigor so far seems to be a good foil for Jango, a good physical foil, and like in the first issue, I get the impression that, much like Jango, he's a very no-nonsense capable hunter. All our stories begin to converge here, as while Jango is beaten around the garbage pits by Vigor, Aura Singh arrives to steal the information Jango is after from the ship's captain's computers, right out from under Jango's nose while he fights Vigor. So far, Aura hasn't really been used in the way I thought she was going to be used. I assumed she'd be the big opposing force to Jango, considering they have had past run-ins, especially in Legends, and I figured that she would be battling him at every turn, but I like that she's being used more as like a spy, working in the shadows, and it's a very neat dichotomy to Vigor, who is very much the more, present physical threat of the issue. During Vigor and Jango's fight, Jango is almost killed by the skilled hunter thanks to his sheer brutality, but Jango is saved by his own ship, which opens fire on Vigor and allows him to escape with his life. Despite losing his last lead, Jango was eventually sent a mysterious message, seemingly by one of the thieves, who want to meet him on Roxley, the same planet Aura learns the thieves are hiding out at. Jango FETT's new mission is starting to come together nicely here by the end of the second issue, and all of the parties involved are being revealed and had a part to play in the story. As I said, there is definitely some sort of conspiracy going on here that Jango and us aren't really aware of, and that we've wandered into, and I'm looking forward to getting to explore it with Jango as our POV character to this. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10.